Winter storms caused some extreme conditions this year for Butte County residents. Grants totaling $35,000 from NVCF's Disaster Immediate Response Fund helped 7 organizations. These are largely all volunteer organizations that rely on donations from the community. One group to receive a $5,000 grant was Butte County Search and Rescue.
We're all volunteer. Typically people will take, if they're still working, which many of our team members are, they'll take emergency vacation. Their bosses know that they're good employees, and if they work all day today because of a search, they'll put time in tonight to make sure that the work gets done, and that's just how we operate. So it's a pretty incredible group of people.
These volunteers often bring their own assets when called out to help.
We do. So a lot of people have four-wheel drives that are very capable. Some people have snowmobiles and those type of things, quads. And yeah, if it's an appropriate tool to use on a search, somebody will bring that.
The $5,000 grant filled some holes that Search and Rescue quickly learned about this winter.
Yes, there's a number of things that we found that we had immediate need for during the Snowmageddon, as we're calling it. We had a wall of probably half a dozen sets of snowshoes that were, sometimes that's the only way you can get into a place if you can't get in with motorized equipment. And the first day and a half, all the straps broke in the snowshoes because they're 20 years old. They hadn't been used for a long time. As soon as we put them to heavy use, they broke. So we were able to purchase a whole new set of snowshoes, I think half a dozen snowshoes. We bought new binding for the old ones, so we repaired those now as well. So we've got lots of options for snowshoes. We bought 3 new chainsaws. People are having to put their personal chainsaws in all the rigs going out in the snow because we just didn't have enough. And the first thing that happens when you're trying to access somebody's property in the snow is you find a tree that has to be cut out in order to get in there. So those were the primary things, and then some radios. We also have ordered some additional handheld radios that we were short of. When you really start pushing a lot of people a lot of different directions, that's when you realize your deficiencies. And those are the things we observed, and we're just super grateful to be able to fund those things and to get them purchased and get them in place.
The Butte County Community Emergency Response Team, known as CERT, is another all-volunteer organization that received a $5,000 grant from NVCF.
We're 100% volunteer and donated, and sometimes we need to get something done and we lack the corporate part of this doesn't have the funding for it, so that does happen. And grants are very important for us.
Members were delivering goods like food, fuel, blankets, and heaters to snowbound people. The grant was used in part to buy radios so CERT members could communicate in areas with no cell phone service.
We sent volunteers out in areas with no communication, none. And with 18 people out driving in difficult conditions, out without communications is just not safe. It's not something we can support. So fortunately, they were all provided with equipment that we could communicate back with dispatch, and we're very trained to let people know that that we're where we are and where we're going, and so it really helps us be safe and focus on what we're trying to do. And we're supposed to be part of the solution and not become part of the problem.